In the United States today, there are 44 million immigrants from around the world. But among these immigrants, about 12 million or so are from Mexico alone. The story of Mexican immigration has been very important for the United States. Most of the immigrants who've come to the United States in the last 4 decades have been from Mexico. But it appears that Mexican migration to the United States has slowed, and it's slowed significantly. Today, fewer immigrants from Mexico are arriving in the United States than are choosing to leave. One other fact about Mexican immigration is that about half of all Mexican immigrants living in the United States today are in the country without authorization. That means they entered the country illegally over the last few years. What's interesting about this as well is that in this current presidential election cycle, there's been a lot of discussion about the role of immigration, and particularly illegal immigration to the United States. Some presidential candidates have talked about particularly the flood of Mexican immigrants coming across the U.S. border in recent years, but in reality, Mexican migration flows to the United States have slowed so much that actually Mexico is no longer the nation's or the United States' largest or single source of immigrants. That actually now is China and India, who send more immigrants to the United States than Mexico does today. Why is this important? Well, in this upcoming presidential election cycle, many have discussed the importance of the Latino vote. Latino voters make up about 27 million people in total and could represent up to 12% of the nation's voters in this coming November election. How they're going to vote? It remains to be seen, but historically, Hispanics have leaned towards the Democratic Party very heavily, and that's likely to be the case again this year. But a lot of the discussion around immigration, around Mexican immigration particularly, has been focused on Latino voters, and many Latino voters have expressed an interest in voting this election cycle, partly in order to get their voice heard, but also partly as a reaction to much of the discussion around immigration in the United States.